There is nothing that could make me hate 50 Cent, and especially after this. He has literally just dropped this on his actual TikTok. Sean Diddy Combs' jury selection for trial is finally complete. If only, because if anyone's going to shed some goss on Diddy, it's always going to be 50 Cent. The guy is a legend.
Oh my goodness, could you imagine if Diddy got a jury of all 50s? He'd be in a corner crying. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. We're 5 days into the Diddy trial, and so far, a whole lot has happened. I mean, for real. Allegedly, you got missing witnesses, you got jurors dropping out because they're scared for their lives. You got Diddy's attorneys over there arguing that Cassie was the aggressive partner who was over there putting hands on Diddy. And now, you have one of Diddy's old bad boy associates who's allegedly getting ready to come out and testify for Cassie. According to sources, prosecutors dropped a major bombshell on Diddy on Friday when they announced that former Bad Boy manager James Cruz is going to be taking a stand during the trial. However, contrary to popular belief, sources say that James Cruz is not going to get up on that stand to defend his old boss Diddy, but instead, he's going to be a key witness for Cassie. Now, after people heard that James Cruz is going to be taking a stand, they were like, oh, Diddy's done. As a matter of fact, check out what YouTuber Ticket TV had to say about the whole situation.
The big news is this. The man you see on the right-hand side of your screen, his name is James Cruz. He is the former president of Bad Boy Records since 2018. James Cruz, the former president of Bad Boy, will be testifying against Sean Combs. So this is your right-hand man, your president, is getting ready to give you up. This is not something that's made up. And today it came up in court today, in the filings in court today came up. In the filings in court today, that he is going to testify. Now, let's get right to it, because I want you guys to hear what the homegirl Khadisha Lynn had to say today too. Salute to her.
And that's not even all. We also learned that one of Diddy's co-workers, James Cruz, is about to testify against Diddy. And in Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, she actually talks about James Cruz. She said after the hotel incident that we all saw broadcasted on CNN, she ran to her friend's home in Florida. James Cruz, the president of Bad Boy, tracked her down and told her that her single would not be released if she did not answer Diddy's phone calls. And now the judge just ruled and accepted that James Cruz is going to testify against Diddy during this trial. And this is big news because we know he's not testifying on Diddy's behalf, but he's testifying to the fact that he had difficulties promoting Cassie Ventura because that was his job for Bad Boy Records, was to promote her. So basically saying her career didn't end up going anywhere. It's a big deal because this is going to be one of the examples to try to prove the coercion in Diddy's trafficking charge of Cassie Ventura.
Now, that is a major situation. That's major information right there. Because, as I told you guys, now you're starting to see the witnesses come forward. So, as I told you guys, and I'm going to say it again, it's over with for these clowns. It's going to be some slow singing and flower bringing starting on Monday.
Shout out to Ticket TV and Khadisha Lynn. Both are phenomenal YouTubers, but as you know, when it comes to P. Diddy, I look at things a little differently. And I'm not quite sure that James Cruz is going to be the secret weapon for Cassie that the prosecution thinks he's going to be. Because if you remember, 50 Cent said, whatever you do, you can't trust James Cruz. As a matter of fact, 50 Cent even alleged that James Cruz was one of Diddy's many concubines and that they were down there swinging eps in Miami. In a tweet, 50 Cent wrote, "This cokehead James Cruz worked for Chris Lighty. He didn't make no deals. He was just in the meetings. Puffy played with his butt in Miami. Ask him about the weird ish that they were into. Don't ask him about me." Now, just to be fair, because you know I like to share both sides of the story, Tony Yayo went on Vlad TV and he said that even though 50 Cent said that, he does not believe that James Cruz was over there bouncing up and down on Diddy's lap.
That's why I don't like James Cruz.
Why? I saw his interview too.
Yeah, I don't like him at all. Like, cause he's a sucker. Like the whole time he was still going to go see Jimmy, hanging out. Meanwhile, Jimmy's getting Mike Lighty cut in the back of the head. And everything else and everything else is going on. He's a punk. Like when you see people that like they're just fearful of, we said respect comes from admiration or fear. One or the other, right? His respect for Jimmy comes from fear. So he's a sucker in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? And then he's a sucker. I didn't understand why Chris wanted him around. You know what I'm saying? Like when what happened with Lil' Kim out front, D-Rock, him. Yo, come out from behind the red car, they got us. That's what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why is this nigga around us? Get him away from him. And the Chris was like dealing with him because he had like a background. Because he had a radio background, he always looked like he should get a piece.
Additionally, many people have alleged that one time James Cruz was at a party with Diddy, and while he was there, Diddy was all over him like white on rice.
What's going on? I want to talk about James Cruz. It's very funny that I found his name on a particular video that I watched not too long ago. I've been looking for this guy for the past week and a half. I remember writing a blog on him, but I forgot his name. And I wrote this blog some years ago, and it was about him and Puffy at this New Year's Eve party that was hosted by Diddy. And the whole entire day leading up to the New Year's party, Puff showed himself on Instagram Live. He ran a lot of Instagram Lives and then left them as stories. Now they're no longer able to be found. I can't find them on the internet on other sites. But let me tell you what happened. It was a lead up, so of course it was all day long. He wanted us to have the inside of, like, I guess, of how he gets prepared for the day, getting a haircut. But during the daytime, I'm watching, and I said to myself, man, it looks like P. Diddy, and I wrote this in the blog, it looks like he's under the influence of possibly something along the lines of or ecstasy. I don't know. But now I do know that he fucks around with Tusi, which is also known as pink cocaine, that has a lot of different things in it, like fentanyl, LSD, MDMA, and other stuff. And they dye it with pink dye, which makes it turn the color pink, but it looks like cocaine, so they call it cocaine, but it's not cocaine. And so as the day goes along, he's walking around and he's all up on James Cruz. I mean, I'm talking about, like, imagine if you're a male and you're standing next to a female. You know, like how some guys would get up on her, like if you standing behind her, how you be all close, tight on her, you wanted to be able to feel your shit. Like he was doing shit like that with this dude, James Cruz. And James Cruz was not resisting Puffy's advances, if I'm correct in my observation. He was smiling and laughing, and you know how people got these, they smiling, laughing, talking, looking at one another like, yo, it's like we know a little bit more than what they know. And yeah, I like this, so when you're doing this, and I said in the blog that I wrote, I said, damn, I think they probably fucked at the end of the night.
Okay, so I'm sharing this information with you to drive home the fact that over the years, many people, including 50 Cent, have alleged that James Cruz and Diddy's relationship transcends simply being co-workers. Ironically, during an interview with another Bad Boy employee, James Cruz sat there and kikied over the fact that when it came to himself and some of the other dudes that used to work at Bad Boy, Diddy used to be over there acting like a jealous ex-girlfriend.
I'm like, Puff Daddy calling you stupid. And this time, this is P. Diddy. This is the guy I don't like. There's 5 personalities. We'll get into that later. But P. Diddy's the one I don't like. You got Puff Daddy, you got Puffy, you got P. Diddy, you got Sean, and you got Diddy. Okay? Starts with Sean, then it goes to Puff. I love Sean, I love Puff. Then it goes to P. Diddy. I don't want to even be in the same room with that man. Then it goes to Diddy. And P. Diddy calling me stupid, and I go, huh? He goes, you know retail, you know marketing endorsement deals, you know promotion, you go and learn management, there'll be no stopping you. And right there, he picks up the phone and calls Chris Lighty and says, I'm loaning you my #1 guy.
Okay, so me knowing Puff, he was ready for you to get out the building.
Yeah, he was done.
Like,
he was done.
Puff don't let no, like Puff is like the jealous girlfriend. If anybody is looking at you, he's like, hell no.
No, but see.
Now, I want you to catch this. During that same interview, James Cruz said that P. Diddy's like family to him. And as a matter of fact, him and his wife basically raised P. Diddy's son.
How do you get back with Puff?
Puff was going out on tour, and he was going out the Puff Pass tour with Snoop. And we went to Europe, and he gave us a shot. And Chris went out for the first 2 days and then disappeared. And I stayed out for 2 weeks, and actually it was 3 weeks, almost a month. And our friendship, Puff and I, our friendship started to gel. Our understanding of one another, And it's funny. I tell a funny story. Where I had just done the same tour a month and a half before with Busta, and then 3 months before with 50. So I was getting upgraded in every hotel room that I would get. I would get the presidential suite. They said, Mr. Cruz, you're here again. All the money you spend, they're gonna upgrade you. And Uncle Paulie came to my room one time, knocked on the door.
Uncle Paulie?
His security guard.
Okay, Puff security.
Mm-hmm. And opens the door, he says, wow, look at your room. And 5 minutes later, Puff came to my door. what's up with that room? Yo, what you doing? I need that. And I'm like, oh man. So I had to give him my room. But it's okay, because the artist always comes first. And that's part of that ego that starts to build up when you're at the top. You gotta humble that ego. You gotta keep that ego at bay, because that ego can just fall into place just like with an artist. So I gave up my room to Puff, and he took the room for the rest of the tour. He was in the biggest room. But also understood that, hey, I took a step back. And I was still in a place of 50, because that was a service, and that was the first height that I had ever felt. But Sean's my friend and my brother. We were there, my wife and I were there when Christian was born. We raised Justin. So there's a difference between performing a service and being part of a family.
What would you say is your greatest personal trait that has helped you in the area of management?
Personal trait? Doing whatever it takes, good or bad.
Okay, so let me explain why I'm extremely leery of James Cruz. 1. 50 Cent said you can't trust him. 2. When you have a dude who says that Diddy's like family to him and he's willing to do whatever it takes, good or bad, then you have to be a little concerned about this dude. Because even though he says that he's getting ready to get up on that stand to defend Cassie, you never know. Because once he gets up on that stand, he might flip the script and defend Diddy, especially if they were secret lovers.
Secret lovers, yeah, that's what we are. Trying so hard to hide the way we feel, 'cause we both belong to someone else, but we can't let it go, 'cause what we feel is all so real, so real, so real.
Listen, y'all know darn well that when it comes to P. Diddy, this mess gets complicated. Anyhow, hit that like button and let me get back into it. Before I continue with my commentary, let me let you hear this dude who believes that James Cruz along with Capricorn Clark are going to be 2 nails in Diddy's coffin.
So this James Cruz guy, the reason why I brought him up is just like what I brought up Capricorn Clark. He may possibly be a John Doe. These are people like Capricorn Clark is a former assistant of Diddy who referred to Diddy as the devil. So she might be a Jane Doe. I mean, she's worked for him or with him for years, so she would know a lot more than what most people would know. And of course, if you are Homeland Security or some sort of federal agency, you're going to want to get in touch with these people with the hopes that they'll be able to tell you or be willing to tell you more, because with her having the issues with Puff, she probably wants to see him buried and probably be willing to testify and say these things, but being listed as a Jane Doe with her name being redacted. With that being stated, going back to it, this James Cruz, he is very, very suspect as far as in his mannerisms. And I think he's a fruity guy. I think he's not straight. I think he's curly. I think he's crooked. Like I was saying, crooked meaning not in a criminal sense. And I think that he's going to be someone that the feds or Homeland Security, one of those agencies, would want to look into and investigate, being as though he's had some business dealings with Puff in over an amount of years.
Interesting. Let me share my honest thoughts. While it's possible that the feds could have told James Cruz that unless he testifies against Diddy, they will lock his black behind up too, I highly doubt that the feds have more dirt on James Cruz than Diddy does, which makes me wonder, is James Cruz one of Diddy's plants? In other words, is James Cruz a double agent who's saying that he's working for Cassie, but is just waiting for the right time to walk into that courtroom and blow Ish up in order to help Diddy? Now, is it quite possible that James Cruz is on the up and up and he's really there to help Cassie? Of course, but for some reason, I think something's sus. Why? Because I know Diddy, and James Cruz walking into that courtroom to testify on Cassie's behalf would be similar to Stevie J switching teams and all of a sudden testifying for Cassie. See, as these first 5 days of the trial have passed, I'm sitting over here wondering if the judge, as well as these 5 white female prosecutors, really understand just how slippery P. Diddy can be. Now, is it possible that I give P. Diddy a little bit more credit for being a criminal mastermind than he actually deserves? Maybe. But when I hear things like P. Diddy was sitting in that courtroom looking mad nervous and he looked over at the judge and he was like, Your Honor, can I please use the bathroom because I'm mad nervous? I'm sitting here thinking like, no, Judge, you can't let him go to the bathroom, because if you let him go into that bathroom, he's going to flush that toilet twice. And if he does, that's going to be the signal to somebody else who he already has posted up in a bathroom that they should go after juror number 2. I mean, for real, you think I'm playing, but you never know who Diddy had posted up in that bathroom, because the other day, Ray J posted a video in which he said that even he has spent some quality time in bathrooms with P. Diddy.
Come on, Ray. Ray, come on. That's something we can invent. Nobody did that, bro. Niggas done slept together. Niggas done showered together. Niggas done partied together. But niggas ain't hit that bathroom stall together. That'd be you. Give me something that can be me and you, Ray. Give me a me and you thing. A chaotic and Ray J thing. But let me figure it out first, though, because I already been in the bathroom with Diddy, bro.
And then, when they said that they were going to wait till after the weekend to solidify the jury because Diddy and his team felt that a whole lot of jurors were going to drop out, I was like, oh my goodness, they don't know who they're dealing with, because everybody and their mother knows that you can't allow P. Diddy to see the jurors, know where they live, and know their names, and then give him a weekend. I mean, I was just sitting over here shaking my head, because to me, and this is just my opinion, I was sitting over here like, oh my goodness, that right there is a recipe for a P. Diddy payoff. Let me tell you something, and this is a true story. From the first time that I ever saw P. Diddy in real life, I was like, oh my goodness, this dude right here is different. So this is what happened. The first time I saw P. Diddy, I was about 12 years old, and I was hanging out at Howard Plaza Towers. And I was looking out the window, and he walked by, and I was like, yo, what's up? And he was like, yo, what's up? And as I looked at him, you could tell that this dude had the dead eyes. And I know, you're over there like, Sauce, what are the dead eyes? You know when you look at somebody straight in the eyes, and their eyes are just black, like there's nothing behind them? The dead eyes. You know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, when you're in P. Diddy's presence, you can tell immediately that this ninja right here is built different. And he's also willing to do the types of things that you're not willing to do, which is part of the reason why he was able to accumulate $1 billion in the first place, which in and of itself isn't a bad thing. But what you realize when you're around Diddy is that this ninja right here is not docile, and he's never ever gonna roll over. This ninja is gonna fight till the end. And he's going to do anything within his power to win, which just may include getting James Cruz to infiltrate Cassie's camp in order for him to get the W. And I know, somebody out there is like, yo, Sauce, you talking some Mission Impossible stuff. Diddy ain't doing all of that. Listen, let me tell you something. A lot of y'all are really young, and some of y'all may not have been alive when Diddy had his first gun case with J-Lo. But what ended up happening is that some people who were supposed to testify for Natanya Rubin and the rest of the people who got pow-powed turned around, and the day that they got on that stand, they changed their whole story and did a whole 360. I mean, people who are my age remember it like it was yesterday, because up until the time that they got on the stand, everybody was like, yo, this ninja's guilty. And then, when it came time for them to testify, it was like, what just happened? Now, despite what James Cruz gets up on that stand and says, whether or not he supports Cassie or not, I'm guessing, and this is purely speculation, but I'm guessing that Cassie's still going to have an all-star team of witnesses that are going to support her claims against Diddy, which include, whether through sworn affidavit or in-court appearances, Lauren London, Ryan Leslie, Capricorn Clark, Tiffany Red, Cassie's husband Alex Fine, Michael B. Jordan, and Kid Cudi. On the other end of the spectrum, I'm going to predict, and this is just a prediction, but I'm going to predict that Stevie J, French Montana, Jermaine Dupri, Justin Combs, and Christian Combs, along with Kalina from Diddy Dirty Money, are all going to make statements in defense of Diddy. What do you think? Do you think that I have that about right? Or do you think, nah, Sauce, you're dead wrong? See, the only person who I'm a little iffy about, who I have reservations about, is Jermaine Dupri. But then, when I think about it again, I'm over here like there's no way that the defense or the prosecution didn't speak to Jermaine Dupri, because this ninja was over there going on vacations with Diddy and Cassie.
Happy birthday, Puff. You know what I mean? We've been doing this right for a long time.
It's good to see you. I ain't seen you in a minute.
I know, it's been a while. I gotta ask you, of course, the trial coming up with Diddy.
Free the guy.
I know you said you think he's gonna be cleared of all charges. How you think it's gonna play out?
I mean, I didn't say that he's gonna be cleared of all charges. I said let the court, dictate what it's gonna be. But I just feel it's a lot of it's just a lot of bullshit attached to it. You notice those 200 cases from that lawyer from, what's this guy, Busby or whatever? he can't even practice in New York. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I noticed that the RICO charges dropped against him from the Little Rod bogus lawsuit. I can't wait for him to have his day in court so we can come out and we can get back to this music, you know?
Now, obviously, you've been very vocal about, you know, supporting Diddy and standing by his side during his time. What do you think about the industry going kind of silent about it? You know, all of his friends and...
If I was him, when I get out, I wouldn't fuck with none of them dudes. You know what I'm saying? I would just keep it family and close loved ones. I would actually have a Diddy party and invite everybody to the Diddy party and get on the mic if I was him and be like, yo, I never want to see you motherfuckers ever again type shit.
You think he can start the parties back up after this? You think it'll be the same?
Always go to a Diddy.
They gonna always go to a Diddy party. All right.
Absolutely.
You know something? There's a lot of things that you can say about Sleezo, but one thing that you can never say is that he wasn't loyal to his man Diddy till the end. Listen, let me know what you think down below. Do you think that Diddy's right-hand man, and according to 50 Cent, alleged undercover lover James Cruz, really switched teams and is now gonna get on that stand and testify for Cassie against Diddy? Or do you think that James's new alliance with Cassie and the prosecutors was orchestrated by Diddy to cuff up Cassie's case from the inside? Also, let me know, do you think that Diddy really has a chance to win this case? Or do you think the only way that P. Diddy was ever going to be free again is if he jumped on a plane and went on a run like Russell Simmons and created a whole new identity for himself someplace like Argentina, El Salvador, Peru, or Guatemala? And I know, you're over there like Sauce, you almost made it through the whole video being serious. I know, but I couldn't help myself. Listen, let me know what you think about everything that we discussed in today's video, and while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Peace.